Okay, so 6:33, we got a quorum, we can go. All right, all set. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Mashpee Conservation Commission meeting for Thursday, November 13th, 2025. We're meeting in the LaQuoit Meeting Room, Mashpee Town Hall, 16 Great Neck Road North, broadcast live on local cable channels 8 and 1072, streamed live on the Town of Mashpee website, and it's a hybrid remote meeting with Zoom ID shown on the agenda. Okay, first item, if you join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, first item, we'll jump right into the hearings. We'll start with the RDA for 45 Nehoyden Road, Richard Gorby and Jennifer Adelman. Proposed work to be a front entry bump out addition on an existing deck, a living room addition in place of an existing deck, and a primary bathroom closet area bedroom addition on backside of the house. Representative is Synergy Home Improvements. So, good evening.
Good evening. Jeff Bright, CEO and President of Synergy Home Improvements, in request for determination of applicability of the Wetlands Protection Act in regards to the property being located in a floodplain. The representation of Richard and Jennifer Gorby, the homeowners, also my clients, are applying for the purpose of being able to build a front addition bump out, where at current it already is non-conforming to code and a bit of a hazard. And in addition to that, Mr. Gorby has recently had a knee replacement, and it's quite of an arduous situation. So that is the nature of the original application. Also, I had spoken with the agents at Conservation, Drew being one casualty at one point, but also Mr. Kent, who had advised me of the RDA application being acceptable for the front bump out addition, but NOI may be needed for the back addition as a proposed application. Does the board have copies of this existing and proposed plot plan and drainage calculation?
Should have the drainage calculation, I believe.
I have copies of that if you would like it.
Okay. I think they have it in their packet, but if you
May
want
I
to hand them out. Sure.
approach and distribute? My office did email today, thinking perhaps that wasn't provided. So I'm sure that that was included, even though it is delineated on the plot plan. The actual drainage calculation. From what I was able to gather in my research, it seems as though the presence of the floodplain is indeed there, but no other non-conforming circumstances such as river frontage or coastal bank or anything like that. It didn't seem like any type of mitigation planting plan or anything like that would be a need. This is an existing footprint application, and I'm interested to hear the board's questions or thoughts or comments on that.
Okay, thank you. All right, go to board members. We'll start with you, Paul. Any questions, concerns?
Yes, in looking at the plan, it looks to me as though, I know it says approximate septic tank location, but it looks as though the footers for those piers, and I believe they're down 4 feet, they look to be right over the tank.
From what I can see in a field survey of my own, as I would be the person placing them precisely. It seemed as though, from a structural perspective, we could install structural supports that would maintain structural integrity of the building, although right directly adjacent to it, it seemed like we had space for it. It is difficult to analyze that 100% certain as to its exact location until we actually start digging up the ground. That wasn't necessarily something I was going to do, you know, as that is a technical commencement of work, right? So I was really looking for, you know, the commission's and zoning board approval as well, to address the nature of exactly what that structural plan would look like, as far as down to the 1/4 inch, let's say. So that is a you know, a potential issue. Yes, I do trust that by survey that is exactly where the tank is, but as we probably have all learned over the years, you know, depending on exactly where it is would dictate what we could do there.
So tell me then what happens if the tank is exactly where it's shown on this diagram? You're not going to be able to put the support structures in as proposed.
Well, that's the thing. It's very close, depending on the beam support used, and what the makeup of the structural, what the structural plan would look like. For example, if, let's say I was restricted of using only a certain size member of a beam that was not very large, well then, and I had to put a piling right at that edge of the building, then that would be obviously a challenge and that wouldn't work. If it comes down to, you know, the idea where we need to use, you know, a steel beam or something that has a greater integrity, where we would be able to draw up a, you know, proposed overhang of that section right there, all the while staying within you know, within building code. We would have to assess that, so I would have to identify exactly where the tank is, like in the field.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I don't have any further questions right now.
Okay, thanks, Paul. Rich?
I guess just to kind of piggyback off Paul, so your structural or where these pilings are going to go is dictated when you get going with this.
Pretty much, and unfortunately, I mean, I would literally have to be present and basically manually dig a hole, right? Because, you know, if I can put, you know, a 14-inch steel beam under the building, and I can have a, you know, an overhang of, based on the width of this building, yeah, exactly, if I can cantilever at 3 feet, then I'm confident that we can make it. But, you know, if it's, let's say that tank is actually 2 feet further under the deck, then I'm not actually sure. So, so that's, yeah, that's pretty much my position there. Going as it is drawn, it's possible to frame that. It's actually even more so possible to frame it with the adjacent proposed addition next to it, actually. If it were standalone, it would actually be a little bit more tricky. So, yeah, unfortunately, I have no exact determination until I can dig a hole.
Okay, what's that? Sandy?
Seems to me that with all these iffies for the back part of this design, that should be an NOI because of all the concerns with the septic. Like if it has to be inspected by the Board of Health, if it doesn't pass, then it's going to have to be a new septic, correct? And then if we have questions, as Paul said, about where the footings are going to go, but could we, you know, approve the front, it's a proposed just entryway as an IDA?
But we can always put a condition
Yeah.
on it to say if the
Yeah.
septic tank needs to be moved, that they have
Right.
to come back with a,
Right,
with a, be an NOI then.
Yeah.
Right, for septic, for yeah, because it's in the flood zone.
mhm,
But
Right.
if you can design, design around it, the structural, let's say you put a footing next to the tank and you can
Okay.
cantilever out, then
right. Okay, that would make sense.
that works if you want. We
Yeah.
can do it that way, so.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would work.
Okay. All right. Answer my questions, so I'm all set. Drew, anything?
My only comment was, it was a little hard to tell from the plan what's inside elevation 12 versus zone X. You can see the dashed lines there on the plan, but I'm not sure where, the actual project locus, where the work is actually occurring, if that's inland subject to coastal storm flow, or is it in the X zone? When you look at it on GIS, which is not as reliable as, a surveyed
Yeah.
plan,
Yeah.
it does intersect between X and elevation 12, but I can't tell from the plan exactly where, in relation to what's being proposed, those proposed the addition.
The way I read the plan is it's in AE 12.
In
Pretty much, most of the property's in AE
Okay.
12, yeah. Because when you see the AE 12 is on the left side of the line and
Yeah.
X is on the right side of the line,
Okay.
so,
Yeah, I wasn't quite clear on that.
yeah.
It seemed, I'm sorry, go
Yeah,
ahead.
no, it's fine. Just going over some of my other, so you saw Board of Health comments that they have to do a Title V inspection. And there's no removal of any naturally vegetated areas from what's proposed. So maybe, I don't know if you want to have a continuance to see what Board of Health says, to keep it under an RDA, or if you want to issue a positive determination to kick it up to a notice. It's,
Yeah.
I
Can we-
understand that the addition is in the resource area, and that's typically the subject of a notice.
Notice of intent, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we could, if commissioners feel comfortable with doing a positive determination, push it to NOI, and then give the applicant time to find the tank, to dig it up and say, okay, where's the boundaries of the tank? And then come back to us on that and say, okay, if the tank's underneath it, because it shows right now the existing deck's on top of the tank, according to the survey plan, so.
Yes, that's correct. And for what it's worth, if it's any difference to the commission, the front entry is definitely a priority. I spoke with Mr. Kent, I believe it was the beginning of last week, and he mentioned that it was an almost certainty for the back proposed work that an NOI would be required. In fact, because of the septic tank, I sort of thought it would be anyway, but maybe perhaps not necessarily for the front. But if I'm able to locate the tank based on the existing build location, perhaps that may be, I suppose it depends on what the continuance looks like too, as far as schedule, but you can make the determination from there.
So we could do a negative determination for the front addition only and remove the two rear additions and say you need to come back with a notice of intent for the rear additions and the septic. If that's acceptable.
Yep.
It's up to you.
Yeah, Sandy, Rich, you guys agree with that?
Yep.
Paul?
I do.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay, all right. Are you fine with that?
I am.
Okay.
We are.
All right. Okay, before we take, any comments from the audience? No, okay, seeing none. Do we have a motion on 45 Nahoyden Road?
Make a motion for a negative determination on the front part of the work, the entry bump out, the existing addition off the existing deck and living room, and the rear part of the work to be a continuance with an NOI once they determine where the septic tank is.
Okay.
I wouldn't use the word continuous, it would
No.
just be subject to a notice of intent.
Yeah.
So then, subject to a notice of intent, once you determine where the septic tank is.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Got a motion made. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion made, seconded. We'll do a roll call vote. Paul?
Yes,
Rich? Yes. Sandy?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay, so you have your approval for the front addition only, and then once you determine where the septic tank is, and then come back in with a notice of intent filing.
Very well.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Okay, next item, notice of intent filing, 367 Mashpee Neck Road, Gary and Linda Oldham. Proposed raise and rebuild of single-family dwelling with town sewer connection. Representatives Cape and Islands Engineering, continued from October 23rd, DEP number 433372. Good evening, Mark.
Good evening, Mark Dibb with Cape and Islands Engineering, representing Linda and Gary Oldham for the property at 367 Mashpee Neck Road. We filed a notice of intent request for the raise and replace of the existing house at the property. The existing site consists of about 10,512 square feet. It's developed with an existing house and driveway on the left side to the first floor entrance, and a gravel access path to a lower level entrance on the right side of the building. On the site plan, the top drawing represents the existing conditions plan. The resource areas on the site consist of Shoestring Bay off to the east. We located a salt marsh and edge of salt marsh just west of that, as well as there is a existing drainage swale that is in between the salt marsh and Mashpee Neck Road. And then as you come into the property that crosses Mashpee Neck Road, and on the site, there is a coastal bank that's defined based on the slope and the location within the flood zone. And there's also two flood zones delineated. The flood zone that you see running partially through Mashpee Neck Road is a flood zone line between the velocity zone and AE zone, which is also the Limwa zone, so it's the limit of the coastal A. And then inside the property is another flood zone, which is the line between flood zone AE 11 and the X, and that's the line that runs just to the east of the existing house, and also kind of ties into that lower kind of drive under door that's on the northeast side of the house. The project consists of demolition of the existing dwelling, then building a new flood-compliant foundation per the proposed site plan below. That foundation will support the larger rectangular area, which is 42 by 27 and a half, will be the foundation for a modular build home that will go on that. And then the garage located to the left side of the house will be built from there separately. We've provided a mitigation table based on, so in the site plan, you'll see two sets of buffer zones. We did want to provide the buffer zone to the salt marsh. That is the first 75-foot buffer on the plan. And then there's a second 75-foot buffer from the coastal bank, and the table reflects the buffers from the coastal bank, which is the most landward resource area. We've identified every 10-foot and 5-foot strip of development existing and proposed, and the resulting project created a net increase of development in the 75-foot buffer of 151 square feet, which we have provided the required mitigation based on, those different 5-foot intervals of almost 500 square feet of mitigation. The plan does also include essentially the landscape. It doesn't include every plant detail, but it includes the different land uses, grass, landscaping, and there's a code for that. There's the darker green mitigation areas. There's the proposed replacement of 5 trees on the site, as well as the natural areas that will continue to remain natural for the project. We did submit nitrogen loading calcs. One thing, we had confirmation from the health department that they would allow this development to remain on the existing leach pit until the sewer comes along, which is, I believe this must be the next, number one next area for sewering, so literally months, not years. So the nitrogen loading calcs show almost a 0 nitrogen loading because it's assuming the proposed condition is that this house will be connected to sewer in that area. We did review the flood exceedance maps. The 2070 map, I used the back, those maps are very high scale or low scale, kind of zoomed out. I used the back corner of the existing house, and it said even for the 2070 scenario, there could be as much as 3 additional feet of water, and given that that elevation's somewhere around 13 feet, even at 2070 levels per those maps, could show a water level for a storm event up at elevation 16 or so. Based on the flood code, this house is being built first floor at 17, and so all utilities will also be at 17. It should be a significant improvement over the house that's there, that both the first floor at 14 could be affected, as well as technically even the lower level, the basement level of the existing house could be used as livable space and probably has utilities in it as well. So the proposal would be a significant improvement over what's there as far as flood code and flood resiliency goes. We did provide, since we were increasing net development, when I say development, I'm talking hardscapes, house, basically anything other than natural areas in the 0 to 75. So we did provide a waiver, detailed waiver. I'd be happy to go through that if there's any questions on that. With that, I'd like to go back to the commission if you have any questions. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Mark. Okay, we'll start with you, Paul.
Hi, Mark. Sorry I'm not there, but I am here. What I would like to get from you for a figure is the distance from the shoreline of Shoestring Bay itself to the corner of the proposed new building where that gravel driveway is.
So that is one thing we don't have shown, but the thick dashed blue line would be that water's edge. I mean, I could get it within 5 feet for you for now, but I could get you exact. Basically going to use the current 75-foot buffer off the salt marsh runs almost right to the face of the deck of the house. I don't know if, are you looking for from the deck or the foundation itself?
The foundation itself.
Okay. It's approximately, I'm using the water's edge is approximately 40 feet from the salt marsh. And then the buffer line is another 20 feet. So 75 plus 40 plus 20. So that is approximately 130 feet.
Yeah, okay. One of my concerns was performance standard 6 under the new Reg 25, where it says vertical walls are thus restricted within the coastal A zone and within 150 feet of a coastal water body within the coastal A zone. This is actually velocity zone, which is a little more of an issue than a coastal A. So you are within 150 feet of not being allowed vertical walls.
Okay.
Well, I mean, this is a modular home, right? So I
Yep.
assume you're going to set it down on a foundation wall of some type, right?
Correct. And there is a desire to have a similar storage under, so that could be accomplished even if it's not a vertical wall. Can you just, so I can just highlight it, which section again was that, performance standard?
The new Reg 25, it would be performance standard 6. Right down towards the very tail end of it, very last paragraph in performance standard 6.
It's actually it was existing in the previous version, yeah.
Almost word for word from the old Reg 25.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I do think I was relatively accurate on that distance, so it does look like we might have to do something regarding that regulation.
Yeah, I couldn't do it on my laptop, I didn't have a paper copy, and I was planning to be there tonight and bring my scale, so I thought I'd ask you, you're the engineer. Steve, I'll turn it back over to you for now, I want to check my notes on this again.
Okay, sounds good. All right, Rich? Nothing, no questions? Okay, Sandy?
No, my only question was, the second driveway, is that absolutely needed? Or could we get some more mitigation in there? You know, plantings instead of the driveway?
So the existing house has essentially the same thing. It's an older couple. They want to match what's existing. Is it essential? I'd say no, but it's a request and a desire to have that same type of drive under door. And instead of being, if you went to the site, the existing door is kind of off the right side. This would be off the front side. I mean, we did try to make it just straight in, as minimal as possible. One little thing that this project does is the existing house, that door is actually down in a hole, not a big hole, but by 6 inches or a foot. So water can tend to go down. By adding the flood resiliency, we're adding, it's basically almost level now versus creating a dangerous hole. So it's that, it's a desire for the project. It is included in the balancing of the mitigation calculations. So that's my answer.
Okay, thanks. I just would like to see some more, but instead of driveway, that's fine.
Okay, all
Yep.
set. Yeah, Mark, I'm going to go back to what Paul was talking about. So I see the driveway coming up. I see a new stone wall on the left side of the driveway. You have elevation 8. The proposed basement floor is elevation 8. So that's a garage door where you can walk right in.
Yep.
So, and then all the other grades going across the front of the house are higher. I see 12 across the driveway. Is that 12 carrying over to that retaining wall, to the left of that stone driveway?
Yes.
Okay. So if this is in the flood zone, I don't know how you can meet all the flood zone codes with just one single overhead door in a tiny corner of a house, because the flood zone building codes say you need to spread flood vents out throughout across the whole basement. So that was one question I had there. So that's an issue, and it goes back to what Paul said. I could understand if you needed a rear foundation wall or a retaining wall because of the grades are higher in the rear, and at the front, you do, pilings or piers or something like that, so water can flow in and flow out. Then the next item, you mentioned about the leach pit is going to remain, that Board of Health said, until the sewer comes down the road. Where's the septic tank? I'm not seeing that on the plan.
From all the information we could find, it is still currently just a leach pit.
So there's no tank, there's no D-box, it's just going into a pit.
And yeah, the determination that since it's literally a month or two away is what we were told, to drop a tank in for a month. And this is, I could confirm, I have some answers to give you, so I can confirm if this is seasonal, if it even see flow before it's connected. You know what I mean?
Okay.
If it's seasonal and nobody's even living there, it can't hurt to just stay there till it's connected. But I can confirm
Yeah,
that.
because it sounds like even in phase 2, it's still going to be
Yeah,
a couple years away.
yeah, no, it's not months. I
For
don't think,
sewer.
that area.
I'll look into that.
Okay, so, yeah, we, if the house gets approved, definitely need a septic system in there. And then, and the building plans don't match up, so if you're planning on having an overhead door at that driveway, the building plans don't show an overhead door there at all, so.
It-
And they don't show any flood vents or anything like that, so. And then in the front yard, it shows that you're gonna, so we're gonna have a driveway that's gonna, I see the drain at down by the street at elevation 8, and it goes up to 13 at the garage, so that's a 5-foot height drop. But then in the front yard is, just shows lawn area. So is that front yard just gonna be, follow that grade down, or is it gonna be more level?
The front yard will be more level because at the house, so that outer smaller rectangle is a deck. The grade adjacent to the house will be more like 12 versus trying to get into the garage is 13. So the yard will slope from 12, or we could even propose a different grade, 11. It'll slope from 11 to 8 by the property line, and then you'll see the edge of the roadway is 7.5. So it'll slope 3 feet in
Okay, so
approximately.
instead of lawn, could we have mitigation there, since that's the closest to the salt marsh and the bay?
I can look into that. I mean, it's, at this point, it's a very small area remaining, and I think the desire is probably going to have some sort of small lawn area. I could provide an area on that. If at a minimum, reduce lawn and do landscaping, maybe not the actual, required mitigation. So I could at least try to, I'll see what I can do on that.
Okay, great, thanks. All right, we'll come back to you, Paul.
Yeah, I did have a note here about phase 2, and I concur with Sandy's point on that. We're not talking a month or two down the road here, we're talking a substantial length of time. So and I know it's a modular home, that's what was mentioned, so I find it hard to fathom that they're gonna bring in a brand new home and sit it down on whatever foundation we decide on, and just let it sit there unused. I don't see the project flowing like a typical construction project would flow.
I can look into that. I think it might have been the builder that conveyed the time frame, which could have been adjusted slightly. So, let me work on that and confirm. And
From a conventional build to a modular, is it like 25% less, 50%? Like, obviously, this home would be a year under construction from start to finish. What's a modular? Is it 6 months? I don't know.
It's build a foundation and then it gets delivered and put together in days,
Yeah.
you know, so, but I obviously need to review the sewer schedule along with the phasing and just the project as a whole. It's fine.
Okay. Paul, you have anything else to add?
No, I think that was it. I was gonna ask on the Mars data, but he has that, which is good. Almost set.
Okay. Mark, one other question. So these nitrogen loading calcs, the first one says calculations without IA, and it's 10.8 parts per million. But if you only have a leach pit, is this number valid?
It's still just based on flow going into the ground, so septic tanks themselves, I don't believe you gain much nitrogen treatment out of.
Okay.
So even if there was a tank in front of it,
But with a pit, do we even know what the pit is? Is it-
there's
can-
very poor existing information, you know, it sounds like it was built with the house. It's been a seasonal house for 40 years, so the
It might
pit
be just dumping like the other one.
hasn't had any issues. But yes, it's the stuff comes out of a pipe into a pit. So, yeah, we can continue I do believe the existing calcs would be accurate. And at the end of the day, assuming we're connected to sewer, it'll go down to almost zero.
Right.
But
right,
again, we'll
yeah.
have to review the timing on all that stuff.
Okay. All right, thank you. Drew?
I just had a couple of recommendations, if the commission wanted to condition them, whenever it comes time for a decision. Was just looking at the driveways. For the pervious driveway, the secondary one, my recommendation is to have a cobble edging there at the toe of that driveway. And for the other driveway, if it's going to be impervious, either, if they show a catch basin on there. I think I previously recommended if it was possible to have that as a pervious service driveway, but just for your consideration. And Mark, you said you had heard from Board of Health about their being fine with this leach pit. Was that fairly recent? Because the comments they put forward for this meeting today, which we received today, says it has to, if a house is to be built, it has to comply with Board of Health standards for IA system. So I don't know when your
Yeah, it
conversation
was
happened.
conveyed through the builder that they were going to allow it
The
to
Board of
stay.
Health,
So,
the agent just provided his comments today,
yeah,
and that's what he said.
I'll have to review all that.
Okay.
And just on the driveway on the left, we are just matching, you'll see, the grades do essentially match what's existing. It's just relatively steep, so we're requesting it to remain paved versus, that slope and gravel and.
Yeah, I only bring it up because there's been a lot of work done on Mashpee Neck Road in this area for stormwater runoff. So any way we can reduce that, sedimentation getting into the road, stormwater runoff would be really advantageous because there's been a lot of work done in this area to prevent stormwater runoff from reaching Shoestring Bay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
yeah, there's a chance the pavement could increase runoff, but there's also a good chance it would reduce gravel and,
Sure.
the actual sediment, so.
Understood.
The main thing was the slope.
Yeah.
It's just, you don't want a gravel driveway on a steep slope.
Yeah, understood.
And again, we're not making it any steeper, it's just, it exists as a relatively steep driveway.
Okay, so, anybody in the audience have any comments? Okay, seeing none. So it seems like there's some unanswered questions here. Would you like a continuance?
Yeah, I think that the next available meeting's fine.
December 11th?
December 11th, yeah.
Yep.
Like to
Will that give you enough time to
Yeah.
go through everything? Okay. Okay, so we have a continuance request. Do we have a motion to accept the continuance for 367 Mashpee Neck Road to December 11th?
So moved.
Okay, do we have a second? Okay, motion made second. Roll call vote. Paul?
Yes.
Rich?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Okay, next item on the agenda is a notice of intent filing for 17 Sandollar Lane, Maria McDonald, Sandollar Lane Nominal Realty Trust, proposed septic system repair. Representative is GeoCape Environmental Consultants, continued from October 23rd. DEP number is 433373.
Thank you.
Next guy.
Good evening, Glenn Harrington, GeoCape Environmental Consultants, representing the property at 17 Sandollar Lane. Was here before you on the 23rd, presenting a Title V design plan for the existing dwelling, which is 4 bedrooms. The septic that was proposed was included advanced treatment, a pump chamber to 3 500-gallon chambers pumped out into the driveway. There were comments made for the continuance in order to check the plumbing to possibly put the tank and pump chamber out in the front yard, and also if the tanks were to stay in the back, then a mitigation plan be prepared, and also to show restoration for a replacement of the birch and oak trees that would have to come down for the leaching area. So a mitigation plan was prepared. I handed it out, but I had submitted it to the agent, which I believe was sent to you. And then there was, we did finally get a plumber into the basement to look at the plumbing. It took a little bit, I apologize that, but it took a while to get a plumber there, but we did have an estimator come and provide an estimate to turn the plumbing. It was Coastal Mechanical who came, and their estimate included turning 2 of the pipes that came down the front wall from the upstairs, and then also to add an ejector pump for the basement bathroom. And unfortunately, with that new ejector pump, there would have to be a vent brought up through the upper floors, and then also have another penetration through the roof. And those are the other kind of unknowns that were part of that estimate, is that there is plumbing in the front wall, which is, that they could not see, that would have to be removed. So they don't know what they're fully gonna get into if they move the plumbing. And the vent going up through existing finished space and through the cedar shake roof is gonna add considerable cost to this. Though, because the estimate just was for the plumbing, it did not include any of the construction or repair work for the house. So at this point, I believe that is, those costs are gonna be exorbitant, and that the best location now is for the tanks to be proposed as designed. So the mitigation, vegetation mitigation plan would mitigate and cover any impact of the installation of the tanks in the back. And at that, I'll take questions.
Okay, thank you. All right, Paul?
No, I'm all set right now, Steve, thank you.
Okay. Rich?
Questions?
Okay. Sandy?
No, no questions.
Okay. Yeah, Glenn, thanks for doing that, figuring out price. So I saw the estimate is $7,600 from the plumbers, but do you think it'd probably
Yeah.
3 times that for
If it was a straight
construction?
7,600, we wouldn't be talking right now, it'd be done, but there
Yeah.
were so many other issues and strings attached to doing that, that we really feel that those numbers are gonna be astronomical if we tried to do it.
Okay, all right. Yeah, because before the meeting, I looked up and said, the homeowner purchased this house in 2014 for $195,000. It's on the market right now for $1.6 million. So, but then in the long run, there's a lot of, remodeling gonna need to be done, so,
Right.
it's not just a dollars and cents type of thing,
Understood.
notice, yeah, so, okay. Yeah, the mitigation plan is pretty good. It covers that whole rear area. And then you have a red line that's out behind where the tank and the mitigation area?
That's the limit of work.
Limit of work, okay.
And the siltation.
Okay, so what type of erosion control? What type of erosion control are going to be you're proposing there?
Silt socks.
Silt socks?
Staked in the ground.
Okay. Is that shown on the plan? I'm not,
It is. It's on the full Title V plan on page
we've got a couple different plans here.
3.
On page 3 of the plan or the,
Page 3 of the Title V plan, yep.
three. Okay, great. All right, thank you. All right, Drew, any comments?
Oh, no comments.
You all set? Okay. Okay, anybody in the audience? Okay, seeing none, any more questions from members?
I just assume is it a 3-year mitigation plan for this or one?
I would suggest probably 2 would be sufficient for this square footage.
All right, great. Okay, if we're all set, do we have a motion for 17 Sand Dollar Lane? So,
Make a motion to close an issue at 17 Sand Dollar Lane with following conditions, silt fence, silt socks around the perimeter, work of limit, and a 2-year mitigation plan.
okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion made, second. We'll go to a vote. Paul?
Yes,
Okay, Rich?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
And I vote yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Glenn. Okay. All right, next item, notice intent filing 252 Shore Drive, Concert, New Seabury, proposed replacement, redesign of Papaneset Inn, Sperry Tent and associated elevated deck, representatives BSC Group, continued from October 9th and 23rd, DEP number 433371.
Good evening, everyone. For the record, Hannah Raditz, wetland scientist with BSC. I think just like we did last time, I'll go over the items that we provided for the commission that were requested at the last meeting, and then go into additions and then finalize with the summary before we open up with discussion. Again, this is the proposed replacement of a outdoor tent associated with Papaneset Inn. The proposed tent is going to be on elevated deck structure, and there's an accessory elevated walkway that's associated with this project. At the last hearing, the commission requested a number of additional items and considerations, which we've delivered on. The revised construction plan was submitted to you all last Thursday And that also includes an additional expansion of the laydown area, confirmation of the width of the access, which at a minimum is 15.5 feet, which is sufficient for the construction equipment needed for this project to access the site, as well as a highlighted area of the demolition, which will serve as the work pad that they'll work into as they're deconstructing these structures and then building up around them. We also included the structural plan, quite large plan set from the applicant's design team. This includes support and piling plans and cross-sections with a number of additional notes. Of importance with this is the number of pilings was requested. That's 120 for all structures. That's the elevated deck itself as well as the walkways. In total, this will result in a ground disturbance of 20 square feet for all of these pilings. We also noted that 95 are within coastal dune and 119 are within land subject to coastal storm flowage, with one additional being in the buffer of land subject to coastal storm flowage. I'll go into greater detail about piling supports later, since we also provided that in the information in the revised scope letter. But we also shifted the soil borings closer to the existing structures. So the two that are in dune, we shifted closer to the existing tent. There won't be underneath the footprint because these ones are critical for the design, but they are closer to the structure, which allows us to push that access closer into the existing building. And one of them is underneath an existing elevated area, so they'll do the demolish work for that to access the area to do that soil boring. The concrete ramp, which is at the northeastern edge, which connects the elevated walkway to the private way, has been replaced with a paver path instead. This is still ADA compliant, but it's less of a large object, less full within that flood zone. We also updated the waiver with these scope changes and minor changes to impact calculations. On that note, I'll go to additions, which weren't necessarily requested. So as we were redesigning or addressing the construction access, we realized that there's a shed that's no longer needed. This 105 square foot shed along that access way will be removed and not replaced. They'll just restore the area with clean fill as needed and leave it in its existing condition following construction. We also, we mentioned this in the last meeting, but the 53 square foot wooden stairway and concrete pad off the side of the elevated walkway is not needed. And we hadn't removed it from the plan last time, but now that's officially reflected in the proposed plan. We also addressed a calculation error on our part. So the elevated walkway that shows going from the tent to the private way, we had miscalculated about 2 feet and 11 inches of width. So that amounts to 178 square feet of elevated walkway that we didn't account for previously in the impact calculations. This was a minor increase to buffer zone impacts to the 0 to 75 foot buffer to coastal dune and coastal bank. But overall, didn't require any additional clearing. It's still within that footprint and was shown on the plan appropriately. We just did not have the calculations correct on that. Some information on the pilings, as I mentioned earlier. Those pilings, which previously we had included in the revised scope plan, are now reflected to be helical piles. They'll be about 5.5 inches in diameter, and they'll be installed to an anticipated depth of 10 feet. Again, this is based on not having the soil boring information, so this is based on the understood conditions of the sediment at the site and the design requirements of the structure given the flood zone. We had no increase to resource area impacts after calculating all these changes. There's only a small increase to buffer zone impacts, as I mentioned, due to our miscalculation before. But still taken as a whole, understanding that our buffer zones are all overlapping on top of each other, the largest impact that we're proposing is 568 square feet of buffer zone. And we are still proposing quite a bit of mitigation and restoration. The mitigation has remained the same, 3,332 square feet, and the restoration increased slightly with the removal of that shed up to 1,436. This amounts to 4,768 square feet of combined mitigation and restoration for a greater than 8-to-1 ratio based on the increased impacts within the buffer zone. As I mentioned at the beginning of this, all of the structures within this project scope will be elevated, so it will be quite the significant improvement to the dune. We've moved these structures and the replaced walkways as close to the building as possible to really keep that footprint as small as we can, which will open up the largest amount of the dune and buffer zone to be naturalized and improved by the mitigation and restoration efforts proposed. We did also get some information from the engineer today, which we would have included in the letter, but I just decided I would jot it down before the meeting and bring it up since it was a comment under the last meeting. So the elevated deck and walkways have been designed to the American Society of Civil Engineers design standard 24, which has to do with flood-resistant design and construction. Under section 9.2.2, this addresses detached decks, which this is not, this is as it's not attached to the Papaneset Inn. This standard allows for this deck to be permitted within this flood zone only if it follows one of the two or if it complies with one of the two requirements that follows. One of them is the deck is designed to remain intact and anchored during a base flood elevation event, and the other is that the deck can break away to minimize damage against the adjacent structure. The applicant has chosen the second, for it to be able to break away to minimize damage to the structure. However, the structure is still being designed to accommodate the base flood elevation of 12 feet with an anticipated 1.5 feet of scour at the base of the structure in this flood event. So that's the end of the majority of my notes. I think I am ready to turn it over to the commission for any questions they have.
Great, thank you very much. Okay, we'll go out to commissioners. Paul?
I'll pass right now, but I may have something later.
Okay, sounds good. Rich?
Oh, yeah, and I might put you, but the helical pilings, is that in lieu of the boring machine, so that boring machine won't come in, or will it still come in? It was on tracks, it would come in, and is that what we're using for?
No, so we changed the piling, I don't have it in front of me since I don't have the old plan. We changed the piling supports for the deck and the walkway to helical piles. So that's just the sort of the shape of the support within the ground itself. But the borings still will be conducted in the same manner as before, using the tracked rig to access those areas, and the location we just shifted.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Sandy?
Yeah, just one minor question. The new proposed pavers that are just above the old shed that you're removing, will those be pervious?
I believe it's possible to make them pervious. We would just have to check to make sure that they're still ADA compliant, but I believe they would be.
Okay.
If I may, this is Megan Brady for SA Design. If I may address the committee on that question, the pavers will be permeable.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. And that's noted on the plan? Or will be noted on the plan?
We can. Yeah, I think it's just called it as pavers.
Okay. Yeah, Hannah, thanks for switching over to helical piers. That addressed my major concern from the last time. The plan submitted, the architectural plans, those are old set of plans? Because they don't show the helical piers on the cross-sections? They still show concrete footings? Is that?
I think these ones should show the helical piles. I think it's a bit of a confusing when you see, so those plans that you've got in front of you are the permitting plans, but the full set of plans which was submitted to conservation, we didn't print extra copies of, so I don't. think-
Right, I saw the
actually-
helical
do have
layout
them here.
plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you wanted to see them, we do have them.
Okay, yeah, I'm just saying in this set here, when I looked at the detail section, it's, it showed the stair section and showed concrete, so it looks like an older plan.
Yeah,
so.
those might be the old, I think our cross-sections showed the change to helical.
Okay. I think you've addressed everything else that we asked for. So the helical piles will be driven by, I assume, a similar track machine that you come in there, and you got 120 piles there.
But yeah,
So-
most likely, they might use a larger machine than the soil boring machine, but they'll have certainly the space for it. They'll use that demolition area to be using, to be installing the piles.
Okay, and then everything underneath the new deck will be, since you're gonna have anywhere from 2 to 3.5 feet of open space underneath it, is that just gonna remain sand, where sand can just flow underneath?
Yeah, my understanding, and Brian can correct me if I'm wrong, is after they install those piles, they can bring in sand to restore the grade that it was at previously, and then they will just leave that as is.
Okay. All right, thank you. Paul?
No, I'm good, Steve, thanks.
You good? Okay. Drew, you have some comments?
I'm good.
You good, too? Okay. Okay, any comments from the audience? Okay. Seeing none, I guess we're good to go for a vote.
Oh, yeah, I would have one just recommendation as a condition for mitigation monitoring.
Okay,
for the- Yep, for the plantings.
a 3-year?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so, any other comments from commissioners? We're all good? Okay, yeah, I think everything's been addressed. So do we have a motion for 252 Shore Drive?
Make a motion to close an issue at 252 Shore Drive, with the following conditions: a 3-year mitigation plan, and do we need to see the pervious pavers on the next set of plans, or is that?
I think they were added to the revised plans, weren't they? Is that what you said?
I think we will need to make a note. I'm not sure if we've got exactly that they're permeable, so
Okay.
we'll need to revise.
Okay, we can keep that as a condition.
Sure.
So, yeah. Okay,
Is it?
motion made. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion made, second. Do roll call vote. Paul?
Yes,
Okay, Rich?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Great. Thank
you
you.
for your time.
Okay. All right. Next item, notice intent filing at 5 Deans Hollow Road, John and Beth Ann Lewis and Drolet. Proposed raising of an existing dwelling, construct and maintain new single-family dwelling, hardscape, landscape, and mitigation plantings. Representatives Cape and Islands Engineering, continued from 7/24, 8/7/94, and 10/23. DP number 433356. Okay, good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Adam Brodsky. I'm an environmental and land use lawyer, and I represent the applicants John Lewis and Beth Gillette. Unfortunately, they are not available this evening. As you noted, Cape and Islands are the project engineers, and Chuck Rowland, our professional engineer, is also not available this evening. But we do have Andrew Garrelli, our landscape architect with Yarmouth Port Design, as well as Ekaterina Lebovich, architect with Architect. We were last before the Conservation Commission on October 23, and we had a number of deliverables. The first is, and this related to the order that was issued at the last meeting for the septic system, but also for this project, we provided a copy of the grant of Title V nitrogen loading restriction and easement document so that you have that for both of your files. Second, we were asked to provide a revised waiver letter, which includes specific reference to your Regulation 12 standards, and we provided that also. That's dated November 6, 2025. You may remember that the Thurstons, who live next door at 9 Dean's Hollow, had a number of concerns, which Mr. Thurston presented both in writing and verbally. I consulted a number of times with the Thurstons, and those conversations resulted in minor changes to the project, which are reflected on the site plan. And I think it's fair to represent that we've resolved the Thurstons' concerns. So we've submitted a revised plan from Cape and Islands. It's the proposed site and septic plan revised as of November 4, 2025. And as a result of those conversations, it was decided to leave the proposed retaining wall on our site closest to the Thurstons' property, where it's shown on the plan. It's approximately 4 feet from the Thurstons' retaining wall, which allows us to construct and maintain our wall without getting closer to the Thurstons' wall. It allows the Thurstons to maintain their wall. It minimizes, any additional fill in the floodplain, which would be required if we had extended our wall and filled behind it, and allowed the proposed mitigation plantings in that area. We also, on that side of the project, removed the yard drains from that area, and we shifted our dry well further away from the Thurstons' property, so it's approximately 9 feet from their property line. And again, that was done to address concerns that somehow water that will be infiltrated through either the yard drains or the dry well would somehow impact the Thurstons' retaining wall. We've provided details of also of the proposed modular wall as requested by the Thurstons, and we did provide all of this information to them prior to this evening to make sure that they had seen everything and were in agreement. And that detail is reflected in Yarmouthport's landscape plan, which is revised as of November 4, 2025. And Angela will discuss that for you this evening. And lastly, we submitted revised architectural, or a revised foundation plan, from Architect Associates with a revision date of November 4, 2025. And Eka will speak to that. And as you'll see, there's actually a belt and suspenders approach with respect to the flood openings. And so we provided details showing that the skirting has sufficient openings to demonstrate compliance with the Massachusetts Building Code and International Residential Code requirements for those structures within the flood zone. In addition, architect recommended that we also provide smart vents in the skirting, so we both have skirting which meets the freedom of obstruction requirements, as well as smart vents to ensure that floodwaters will be able to move under this structure. So with that, Andrew, do you want to just discuss the modular wall, and then I can have Eka explain the flood openings?
Yes, Andrew Garrelay, registered landscape architect, Yarmouthport Design Group Incorporated. Yes, in the center of the landscape plan at the bottom of the page, I provided the detail of a modular block wall. I used Allen block. It will either be Allen block or equal, different brand, but equal. So it's a shallow excavation, compacted gravel underneath, and backfilled with gravel. And at the bottom, there is a drain pipe that will also go to the dry well. And near the top, we have some filter cloth so that the loam soil at the top stays outside of the gravel, so it doesn't infiltrate and clog it up. We also, I think, might not have been mentioned, well, also, and it doesn't really show in this detail because this is of the walls, not so much of the soil, but we'll keep that soil down about 2 inches from the top coping of that wall to make sure that water is not spilling over the top of the wall. from the rain that is captured within the confines of the retaining wall. And I think everything else on the landscape plan is the same as the last time that we presented, and I think everybody was fairly satisfied with that. We've got a good wildlife corridor going around three sides of the property, in between the abutters retaining wall and our retaining wall. We have bayberry where wildlife can move through freely in that area and not be inhibited by the retaining walls.
Hi, Ekaterina Labovich from Architect Associates. I'm just here to explain the skirting that we have going around the house and the proposed additional flood vents if they are needed and necessary. The skirting currently provides enough square footage enough square inches of opening for the floodwaters to come in and out. So our enclosed area is 1,936 square feet, and we are providing a total of 2,016 square feet of opening only with the skirting. In addition to that, we're proposing to add 5 flood vents that will basically cover double the area. And that way it will be covered in any potential flood event.
Okay, great, thank you. All right. You guys all set?
Yes, Chair Cook, thank you.
Okay, thanks, guys. All right, we'll go to commissioners. We'll start with you, Paul.
Did we at the last meeting discuss cutouts? And this is a slab floor, correct?
I think so, yes. I believe it was for
Chair Cook,
percolation, right?
We did discuss cutouts in that the client's also willing to use gravel beneath the structure if the Conservation Commission thinks that that's a more appropriate material.
That would be even better.
Yeah, yeah.
So we got authorization from the client in order to offer that.
Okay,
Okay.
great, thank you.
Now, I read the documentation on the lands, the offset lands. We got 2 documentations, I believe was for the other project as well. This is the septic tank.
I didn't follow that.
I'm sorry, Mr. Colombo. Again, both projects have a septic component, so it's the same.
The same lot.
Same lot, same credits, that's correct. Again, if the commission is going to be approving the house project with the septic, we'll obviously have to select one of the orders upon which to move forward with.
Right, okay. No, I think I'm all set, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Paul. All right, Rich?
No, I think I've addressed all the concerns, so no questions from me.
Okay. Sandy?
No questions.
You good? No, thanks for making all these changes, really helpful. I think it clears up a lot of issues there. Andrew, one of the questions I had on the plantings around the wall, you have the northern bayberries. What's the height of those bayberries?
They can grow up to 9 feet tall.
9 feet tall, okay.
You don't usually see them growing 9 feet tall around here because the wind kind of keeps them down a little bit, but I'd say 6 feet.
Okay, so provide a good buffer on that wall for,
And good
Industry.
food source as well.
okay. And you guys have no, I understand that when you spoke to the butters about the 2 walls nearing each other with the 4-foot separation, are you guys concerned with any channeling running through there in a storm event?
No, I think Chuck addressed that last time, that this is more of a still water rise in flood, and if it's directional at all, it would be coming down the 2 streets, and the abutters property is all elevated with retaining wall, and that would be really buffering anything that would come this way. So I don't think there's going to be any, and he didn't think there would be any cross flow from front to back.
Okay, great, thanks. Drew, you have any comments?
Good.
You good? Okay. So when we need a monitoring, if we went forward with the closing issue, 3-year monitoring contract?
Yep.
Okay, any other conditions we need to put on this at all?
Mr. Chairman, I don't think the basement floor on the plan states that it's gravel, so you might want to include that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Plan to show that.
All right. And I did notice that the elevation of the architectural plans don't show the flood vents, but your plan of the pylon show, you just tie those in together. That'd be just clarifying any issues going forward, so. Okay, great. Okay, any other questions or comments from commissioners? Okay, anybody in the audience? Okay, seeing none. Do we have a motion for 5 Dean's Hollow Road?
Make a motion to close an issue at 5 Dean's Hollow Road with the following conditions: a 3-year mitigation plan and gravel under the foundation instead of concrete.
Okay, great.
Under the structure.
Under the structure, okay. Gravel. Okay, motion made. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, seeing none, we'll go to roll call vote. Paul?
Yes.
Okay, Rich?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Great, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next project is 399 Monomoskoye Road, Tranquility Developers LLC, proposed reconstruction of existing deck and redeveloped dock plan. Representatives Wet Tech Land Design. And we do not have a DEP number on this one yet, right? This is,
Yes, we do. This is 43-3375.
375, okay. Okay, and they have asked for a request for continuance, I believe. Is that correct, Drew?
Oh, that's 30 Captain's Row. This is 31 Nick Trail.
No, I'm at 399 Monomoskoye
Oh,
Road.
I'm sorry. Yes, they did.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Okay. So they, did they ask for a date?
Yeah, it's December 11th.
Okay. To December. Okay. Does this need more time for plans or
I think it was ZBA application.
ZBA
Yeah.
application?
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Okay, do we have a motion for 399 Monomoskoye Road to be continued to December 11th?
So moved.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Roll call vote. Paul?
Yes, but before you go on, I'm looking at the agenda for the comments, and I don't even see this
Yeah,
one listed.
I don't,
Right, it's not there. It's on the
Yeah, I
original.
used a different agenda before that.
Okay.
It got taken off, so that's,
I saw the file on it.
Yeah.
I had some questions on it, so I was a little confused where we
yeah,
were.
sorry about that. That was my fault.
That's all right.
Yeah, I had the same question too, Paul.
I'm good with the continuance.
Okay, apologies. Okay, Rich?
Nope.
No, we have motion made and second.
Oh, I
so-
seconded.
Oh, yeah, right, so we'll vote. So Paul just said yes to
Oh, I'm sorry,
continue it.
yes, okay.
Yes, yeah. Okay, Sandy? And I vote yes. Okay, continue to December 11th. Okay. Got past that one. Okay, next one, notice of intent filing 31 Nick Trail, Neil Horner. Proposed upgrade of the septic system, Representatives Mashpee Environmental. And this has DEP number 3375 in it, so that's what you and me. Okay, so let me go back to the 399. That does not have a DEP number yet?
That's not.
Okay. Okay. Oh, number there. Okay. Okay, great. All right, good evening, guys.
Good evening, Chairman Cook, Mr. McManus, members of the commission. My name is Mike Ball. I'm a wetland scientist with Marsh Matters Environmental. I'm here with Pete McEntee of Engineering Works. We've submitted a notice of intent on behalf of Neil Corner, who's the current owner of 31 Nick Trail in Pompanesett. Property is currently under a purchase agreement. The existing system has failed, and therefore a new system is needed, and what is proposed to serve this 3-bedroom house on a 6,500 square foot lot is an IA nitrogen reducing system in the front yard. This work will replace the existing soil absorption system, install a 1,000 gallon pump chamber, and modify the existing septic tank by installing a sludge hammer unit. Board of Health hearing on this will be next week. This is a property that is a flood zone only, so there's no other resource areas other than land subject to coastal storm flowage. If you look at the firm, the property is just inside that boundary in Pompanesett. Pete, do you have anything to add?
Well, the existing septic system, the proposed septic system will be occupying basically the same location as the existing septic system. And the previous septic system was a low-profile system, which I suspect was due to its a 3-inch drop between the pipe in and the bottom of the leaching. And we've been finding that a lot of those low profiles, they don't have the bearing on the sand to be able to be stable, and oftentimes they'll push into the sand and therefore, you know, not have any volume, available volume to hold the effluent. So I've proposed a system that's a plastic infiltrator system with stone around it and stone underneath it to be able to have a good surface for the structures to sit on, so that won't happen again. We've also introduced a pump chamber so that we can be high enough above the groundwater. We're asking for a 1 foot reduction to the groundwater. We're going to have 4.2 feet is what we're proposing, but we want to get approved for the 4-foot separation to have a little bit of wiggle room, have a couple of tenths above what would be required. So basically it's the same footprint of the existing system, but I think it will last a lot longer than the previous one. And it also has the sledgehammer in it to help mitigate against the nitrogen. So it's the system is occupying, well, I should say the system is located in a lawn area right now, so there's no vegetation that's really going to be disturbed.
Okay, great. Thanks, guys. All right, go to commissioners. Paul?
I noticed in the comments that the nitrogen calculations weren't submitted, but do we have those now?
We do,
Yeah, right here, Paul.
You got them printed out over there?
It shows 15.749 parts per million. That's the proposed, right?
That's, well, I mean, there's nothing changing between existing and proposed, so it's the existing and the proposed. I didn't incorporate the any nitrogen reduction for the for the sledgehammer, so that's.
So the sledgehammer is not included in these numbers?
Sledgehammer is not included in this, no.
Okay, so Dan's.
I'm not exactly sure how you'd include that in there, to be honest with you. So, with what we enter into this spreadsheet that you have. So,
Paul, do you want me to take a picture of it and text it to you so you can see it?
No, I'm good, as long as we have it. I just want to make sure it was part of the administrative record. Peter, you mentioned that you wanted to have a little bit of wiggle room. What did you say? It was a little over 4 feet of clearance?
yes, we're asking for a 1 foot reduction to the 5 foot of separation. So I'm proposing 4.2 feet above the groundwater as opposed to the 4 that we're requesting, because oftentimes, you know, when these installers are putting them in, I don't like to hold it right to the 4 feet, because there are some times where they're a little bit off in their installation, and I want to make sure that we can get that 4 feet of separation, I guess is what I'm saying.
Right, and you only have, what, 9 feet from the field to the house?
9 feet from the field to the house. These variances were requested under the previous approval also. So we're basically going to the Board of Health for the same variances that were requested for the system that is in place right now.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not much room on the property.
Oh, no, there isn't. I was trying to find some extra wiggle room to get to 5 feet, but I just don't see where you can get it.
Yep.
What is the contour level at the foundation of the house as to opposed to the lot line along Uncle Henry's Road? Is there any kind of a slope there at all?
Yeah, there's about, the grade at the house is 10, and the street elevations along Uncle Henry's are 7.33, 7.95, so, you know, roughly 7.5. So there is a slope going down there. We're proposing a polyliner to prevent breakout for our system.
Wasn't any thought of like a small retaining wall, of one kind or another, to get that extra foot? I mean, foot's not a lot.
Well, you know, we try to keep the expense down too, so,
Well, not that money's no object, it is, but I'm concerned about groundwater as well. I'd like to get that foot if we could get it, but
well, we could get it by putting a lower profile system in again.
and what was the issue, Peter, with those? They're not stable enough, they're,
Yeah, you know, if you have what it is these low profile systems, the exterior of it has like a sort of a plastic resting, the plastic rests on the sand, but in between it, there's these little pedestals that are about 4 inches in diameter. And, you know, when you put sand on top of that, it just naturally pushes into it, you know? What I've been trying to do, what I do when I do a low profile, which is something we could do on this, I just think that this is a better system. I could put a low profile in there and put a geogrid under it, a structural geogrid, with stone over it to hold, you know, the units up, because the units will be resting on the geogrid. They'll be held taut by, we overlap the leaching system by 2 feet on all around the entire perimeter, so it locks that geogrid in and holds the system up. But it's not as good as having your system rest on stone. Stone is really stable, so that's why I went with this system. I think it will provide more longevity to the system. It wasn't really that much. Let me see, it was put in 2015, so it's not, I mean, it's 9 years or 10 years, so, but,
and do we have the flood exceedance level on this lot?
I don't have it in front of me. It wasn't terrible. We're pretty far inland. The observed groundwater was actually 1.4 feet lower than what I'm holding as my high groundwater, which we had. And so the bottom of our pump chamber is about 2 feet above the observed groundwater and about 4 inches above the estimated high groundwater. So I don't see any issues with respect to buoyancy with the existing tank, with the existing tank or the proposed pump chamber. I think that the weight of the chamber and the earth over it is going to be more than sufficient, even if the groundwater were to come up way into the, above what we have due to a flood situation.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I'm all set.
Okay, thanks, Paul. Rich?
No questions.
Okay, Sandy?
No questions.
Okay. I have a couple of questions, guys. So I'm looking at the photographs and I'm seeing those oak trees. When you're digging in for the leaching field, you gonna have any impact on those tree roots?
I don't know.
Don't know.
I mean, the existing system's right where we're putting the proposed, so they're going to be, they'll be taking out that system, and oftentimes, I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of contaminated soil surrounding the system, so I don't think that I don't think we'll be really digging that much around the perimeter of the system, getting too close to the oak tree. But I don't really know. I mean,
Could make it a
I
condition.
don't know how they spread, I don't know how
Yeah,
far they spread.
That's what I was thinking, yeah. Okay. Next item. I don't see any erosion control on the plan since you have a grade dropping off. Since you got 2.5-foot grade drop.
Yeah, I mean, we can certainly put some hay wattles in there and a silt fence,
Okay.
to prevent any siltation from getting down into the street.
Okay, and then, okay, that answers my questions. Okay. Drew, any comments from you?
No, I'm good.
Good, okay. Anybody in the audience? Okay, you all set, Paul?
I was just jumping over to the Mars data viewer to see the exceedance levels. Yeah, they're up there. I'm looking at 2030, and the water's in there by 2030. But I don't see any other alternative other than to raise the system up.
Yeah. Well, it looks like, the numbers there, it was on the cross section, it looks like it's 4.2 feet, so
4.2 feet above-
so you're talking 0.8 of a foot, so 10 inches difference, right, roughly?
4.2 feet above the estimated high and 5.6 feet above what was observed, standing in
Right, so that's just an estimated high, right?
the
Water.
estimated high, yeah.
Okay. Does that help you out, Paul, any?
Yeah, it is what it is.
Okay. All right.
One suggested condition is lawn standards, regulation 31.
Oh, yeah,
For,
Reg 31.
yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Drew.
Could you just list the conditions you
Yeah,
expect?
whoever's
oh,
going
I'm
to make the
sorry.
motion will do that.
Okay. All right, you all set, Paul?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Do we have a motion for 31 Nick Trail?
Just a quick, how do you want to, if they do dig and there are roots, how do you want to condition that as far as
I would.
Say-
Okay.
make a motion or?
Yeah.
Okay. Make a motion to close an issue, 31 Nick Trail with the following conditions. If when digging does start, any tree roots are impacted, to notify staff. Silt fence around the perimeter, and regulation 31 lawn standards, return the lawn to its existing condition.
Okay, and if trees need to be removed, then did you say a remediation plan will need to be
Yeah, I
required?
guess that would
yeah.
fall back on, I guess, after contact staff.
But I just want to clarify, give a little more detail to that condition.
So if the roots are impacted and a tree is impacted, then the mitigation plan will follow after staff
Correct.
Observes.
Yep, correct. Okay. Do we have a second?
You specified silt fence. Did you mean
Silt
wattle?
sock, silt socks.
Silt
Still
socks.
socks, yeah,
Hay
yeah.
water, okay. That would it be sufficient, in your opinion, to have the hay wattles on the down gradient side as opposed to around the entire site? There's going to be some heavy equipment that has to get in and out of there too, so
Yeah.
if they enter in off of Nick Trail and put their hay wattles down along Uncle Henry's and the abutting property, that should, anything that's going to,
Yeah, I think,
yeah.
yeah, because that's where the erosion's gonna,
Right.
water's gonna flow on that side, so, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yep. Sounds good. Okay, so a motion made, second.
Second.
Okay. All right. Any other comments? Okay, seeing none, we'll go vote. Paul?
Yes.
Rich?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Great. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'll take them. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All right, so next item, notice of intent found, 30 Captain's Row, Matthew S. and Jennifer A. Keelty. Proposed plan for residential addition, proposed deck, septic tank upgrade and mitigation. Representative Cape and Islands Engineering, DEP number 433374. And they request to be continued to December 11th to allow time for a ZBA filing.
Now we got it right.
Now we got it. So, okay. All right. So do we have a motion to continue 30 Captain's Row to December 11th?
So moved.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second?
Okay. Motion made, seconded. Go to a vote. Paul?
Yes.
Okay. Rich?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay. You hanging in there, Paul?
Try to.
Okay. All right, we'll keep things moving along. Okay, next item is amended order condition 27 Ocean Bluff Drive, David and Amanda Gladstein. Proposed reconfiguration of pool and hardscape footprint with mitigation. Representative is Lionstone Design Construction, DEP number 433362. All right, good evening.
Andrew Arias for Lionstone.
Wilkinson Ecological Design.
Can you pull the mic just a little bit closer to you? Thank you.
Jennifer Wilkinson.
Thank you.
So we're here since you guys were kind enough to give us, our first approvals on everything else going on in there, while we have all this remediation going on and while we have all the silt fence and straw wattle in place, and we're disturbing these areas. The client really had an urge to, take care of the oddly shaped pool at this point in time. Twofold, one for, therapeutic purposes, but more importantly for their two young kids, they really wanted to have an auto cover on there. When they're entertaining and things like that, they wanted that from a safety perspective. So we thought that doing all of this now would make more sense than trying to come back later and disturbing all these areas that, we're doing plantings on and, trying to get equipment back there when we have the availability to do it right now.
Okay.
Our idea is to, take, the existing area we have, it's an oddly shaped pool. To be honest with you, I was trying to get a hold of the surveyor to change that. It's indicated as slightly larger on that plan than is intended. It's actually going to be 35 feet long. Right now it's about 38, 39 feet long, and it's about 20 feet wide. We're reducing that down to 18 feet wide, but just kind of squaring up the entire thing. It would interfere with an existing cultivated area that we have going on right now that is propagated with non-native kind of floral plantings. We wanted to move that area over to the other side of the property and then, obviously revegetate with, native species, coinciding with the, pretty intense planting plan that we have already going on with the original order conditions. Kind of where I'm at.
Okay,
So,
great. Thank you.
you're welcome.
All right, go out to commissioners. Paul?
I'm not quite sure, where is the cultivated area being moved to?
Moving the cultivated area to the other side of, kind of right in there where that cursor is. Keep going into right along that area, all the way to the right into that corner. We wanted to take that area right in there and move that cultivated area, in there and make that all. Correct, yes.
Right.
And make that all native species over there. So it'd actually be a reduction, probably, there's existing lawn over there, so it's probably a reduction of lawn space by roughly 120 square feet at least, if not more.
Okay. And that is the amount of the cultivated area, 120 square feet?
I think the entirety of the cultivated area is probably 230 square feet right now. I don't think we're going to be taking the entirety of it. What we're going to be disturbing will probably be about that, but whatever we were taking away, we would put back. Unfortunately, I was unable to get the DWG drawings to Wilkinson in time. They wanted to put together, you know, a more proficient plan for you guys to put eyes on. And obviously, you know, it would take, you know, whatever we needed to do in that corner, we had the availability to take, you know, probably up to, you know, 300 square feet if needed. The other place we were looking, if we wanted to do any additional plantings or anything you guys wanted to do was, you know, we're only affecting right now 1/2 of that, of the coastal bank, and then everything kind of this side on the plan of the existing sea stairs is not being touched. You know, in the original remediation plan, which we certainly could add into this, and that might be a nice place to then have the entirety of that coastal bank remediated, as opposed to, you know, just the one side of it.
Wilkinson is actively contracted and working on the plan. Again, we did not get the DWG files in time to submit respectfully to you before the deadline. But we can submit a full plan within just a few days into next week that reflects those areas and the mitigation that's required.
Okay, thank you. Paul?
Yeah, can I go to Drew with a question?
Yeah.
We're right there at the top of the coastal bank where they're talking about bringing this cultivated area over. Would we have a preference for vegetation types right there?
I can take a look at the cooperative extension planting list, which, you know, kind of you can key out to see what's appropriate for that area. But I would think, you know, things like beach plum or other really, you know, hardy coastal shrubs would be appropriate for that area.
Yeah, I'm thinking if we're gonna change something or condition something and go in there, we might as well get the best product.
Yeah, I can take a look at the list and see what would be most appropriate.
Okay. All right, I'm all set, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thanks, Paul. Rich?
No questions.
Okay, Sandy?
Paul asked my question.
Okay. Okay, the question I have, so you're gonna go from a regular shaped pool to a rectangular shaped pool, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and that's gonna be 18 by 35?
Yes.
So what's the square footage of the existing pool versus the proposed? Same, roughly?
It's roughly a reduction of, I think, 85 square feet.
So, okay,
Yeah.
slightly smaller, okay.
Just because of the way it jogs and everything, it's, you know what I mean, and I was out there double checking that, and it's a reduction of roughly 85 square feet, depending on how you pull certain things with the spa area that is, you know, not necessarily indicated in that plot, in the original plot plan, so.
Okay. And then I'm looking at notes, it says proposed patio, but then you have an arrow going to that area, it says disturbed cultivated area to be located. So is that a new patio that's being proposed around this pool, or?
It was just a continuation of that patio coming straight across there. So the existing bluestone patio, so that line going straight across would just continue to be patio.
Okay, so that's going to be bluestone to match, so it's
Yes.
going to be impervious surface there.
Yes.
Okay. So, and then, so that's existing all cultivated around that edge of the patio except for the opening for the stairway going down to the beach, right?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Okay, thank you. Anyone, let's see. Drew, you got any comments?
Just a condition for drawdown of the pool by pump truck, tanker truck. That might already be in an existing order of conditions, but it doesn't hurt to repeat it for this one.
Okay.
And I can make some recommendations as far as appropriate coastal plantings in those cultivated areas.
Okay. would it be advantageous to, I know, since they're working on the mitigation and planting plan?
Oh, yeah,
So-
so this can be rolled into that. as
Rolled
far
into
as-
that, yeah, so instead of doing a continuance, that we approve it based on submittal plan and,
That was included in the narrative as well, that's their plan to do that,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
okay. All right. And Commissioner's fine with that?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, thanks, Drew.
Sure.
Anybody in the audience, any comments? No, seeing none? All right, do we have a motion for amended order conditions for 27 Ocean Bluff Drive?
Make a motion for amended order of conditions at 31 Nick Trail.
You know, this is 27 Ocean Bluff.
Oh, geez,
We're all
27 Ocean, I'm sorry.
No, we're all
27
doing-
Ocean Bluff, with the following conditions. Staff recommends a coastal plantings and a condition a pump truck for the work on the pool.
Okay, so the applicant will submit the planting plan to staff and staff to consult and
Yeah.
approve.
Yep.
Right, okay. I just want to get the wording correct on that, so, okay. Anything else to add for conditions, Drew? Are we good with
I
that?
think that was it.
Okay, great. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion made second. Any other comments? All right, seeing none, go for a vote. Paul?
Yes.
Rich?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Great.
Thanks so much, appreciate it.
What's that? Okay. All right. Next item would be a certificate of compliance for 124 Shore Drive West, Jared and Nicole Hirsch. Proposed swimming pool and landscape mitigation plan, representatives BSS Design, DP number 433206. It passed inspection.
Yeah, pass, no issues.
No issues, okay, everything looked good out there.
Yep.
Okay. Do you have any questions on this one? No? Okay, do we have a motion to accept this COC?
So moved.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Roll call vote. Paul?
Yes.
Rich?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay, next item was COC 155 Old Bouncewell Road, the Stop Bus LLC, proposed new construction, representatives Cape and Islands Engineering, DP number 432994, and passed inspection. So, any issues with that one?
No.
That's a new house, right? That
It is
was
a new house, yeah.
is that the
Newly
one on the right,
developed
on Quasha Valley Golf
Yeah.
Course?
lot. Opposite side of the street from the school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Trying to buy that house, and
Can you
Come
come
on
up
up,
to the,
come on
yeah,
up,
please.
sir, yeah.
Give your name for the record.
Palmer Graph,
No, come on up to the mic,
table.
please. Yeah.
my name is, I'm sorry. My name is Paul McGrath. Currently live at 5 Homer Road in Hollisport, Massachusetts. And I was trying to buy this property, and the order of compliance, the property was done 6 years ago, completed, and the order of compliance was never submitted, it wasn't submitted for.
So you need this approval to purchase the house? Is that-
Yes, I do.
Yeah, okay.
But what exists is nothing like what was on the plan. Probably gonna get myself in a lot of hot water, but.
During my inspection, it matched up with the plan perfectly. There were no issues.
Do you have a copy of that plan? Could I see the copy of the plan?
I don't think we have it. I can, if you want to contact me, I can send you a PDF of it or a hard copy in the office tomorrow. We don't have it in paper form tonight.
The original, the original plan was never changed, is that correct?
I don't believe so. I'll have to check our permits files to see if there was any changes to it, but I don't believe there were.
So right now, there's a 30-foot, 4-foot-high wall and a walkout basement door. And so there's 3 walls that were never, that did not exist on the original plan. There was no walkout on the original plan. There were cellar windows. And now all of a sudden, there's a 5-foot lower grade.
I'll have to take a look at the plan and see if there were any amendments or administrative approvals to allow those changes, but the plan I had matched up with the inspection. We just don't have it in paper form right now, but I can gladly go over it with you tomorrow or at your convenience.
You want to come into the office tomorrow and see Drew?
Yes, I would. I mean,
You just want to make sure it's 100% correct, right? Everything's 100%, so there's no future issues? Is that your reasoning?
That's exactly right.
Sure.
Okay.
Understood.
All right, so do we want to hold off on this one?
Yeah, I would hold off.
Okay.
This could be continued to December 11th. Is that going to hold up the purchase and sale?
Sorry, we're getting into a lot of legalese here. I was supposed to close on this a while back, and then this came up. I'm quite familiar with conservation issues, et cetera. I just sold my property in Chatham, and we built it like 7 years ago, and 85% of it was in the conservation area. And the comments made by the people who walked through at the end said that I did a wonderful job. The plantings, it is not to the plan. It is not to the plan.
Okay.
It's up to you whether, I mean, I don't know, I don't want to end up.
I mean, it boils down to when we do inspections, if it's in substantial compliance, then if it's like,
Well, if there wasn't any 4-foot wall, and there wasn't any cellar door, and now there is, and the plantings
a
aren't
cellar
there.
door isn't really an impact to wetlands, but if there's outside hardscaping that wasn't part of the plan, that's certainly something we can take a look at, but a cellar door, I don't know how that, you know,
When the original plan says that there's.
as far as
supposed to be-
impact to wetlands. So there could be
So the order,
deviations.
there
We
was-
we can take a look at the plan
Okay, what-
tomorrow and go over all of that.
Okay.
I'm happy to do that.
Okay.
Do a site, another site
Yeah, we
visit?
could do a site visit with you.
Well, I don't own the property, so I don't know.
Understood.
I can come in and see you and just
But
look
I
at
don't want the
pictures.
commissioners to sign this tonight until that happens.
Um,
But their next opportunity to sign it would be December 11th. That's why I'm asking you.
Well, I think, I don't want to get this wrong. I'm
No,
sorry.
Absolutely. I just wanted to see if you were okay with that, because that's.
I would rather make sure that everything is correct.
Sure, understood.
Okay, so we'll continue this to December 11th then.
Yeah.
And I can meet you here tomorrow morning?
Let me just check I might have some morning appointments, but I'll.
Mr. Chairman, is there if I ask a question here?
Yeah, sure, go
Here,
ahead.
is this the house, does this have a shared driveway?
Yes.
So if you go up the shared driveway, there's a house directly, if you're looking at it, and the driveway veers off to the left for the other house.
Yes.
You're purchasing the one as you're driving straight.
I'm the furthest one out.
Okay, so your concern is that there wasn't a door and a retaining wall there prior to, because I think I can answer that question.
Well, on the original plan, there wasn't, it just shows gradual sloping.
My memory's not what it used to be, but if I remember correctly, to the right side, or the D side of the house, there's a slider on the walkout basement. That's what was there when it was constructed.
That's not what was on the plan. That's why I wanted to make sure that that was,
Okay.
see, there was no record. Why didn't they apply for it at the time when they sold it 6 years ago?
Sure.
Had 4 lots, and all of a sudden 3 were asked for compliance for, and this wasn't till now. And it's
10 a.m.
10 a.m. Here.
downstairs basement across from the building department.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome.
Great. Thank you for coming. Okay, so we're gonna
Just hold on that one. Yeah.
make a motion to continue this till December 11th. Is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine, sure.
Okay. Do we have a motion to continue 155 Old Bouncil Road to 12/11?
So moved.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, roll call vote. Paul?
Yes.
Rich?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
And I vote yes. All right, next item, COC 6 Jehu Pond Road, Robert and Martha Johnson, proposed construction of home additions, swimming pool, patios, hardscape, and landscaping mitigation. Represented BSS Design, DP number 432967. It passed inspection.
Yeah, so this one, just to refresh the commission's memory on this, they came in with a COC previously that failed inspection because there was a gap in the mitigation planting scheme that wasn't planted up, so that has since been taken care of. And it triggered kind of setting the clock back for the mitigation monitoring, so we'll add that in as an ongoing condition if you
Okay.
approve this. It won't be a condition in perpetuity, but it'll be ongoing after the COC is recorded.
Okay.
Just FYI, background on that one.
Excellent. Okay, do we have a motion to accept the COC at 6 Jehu Pond Road?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion made, seconded. Any other discussion? Okay, seeing none. Go to vote. Paul?
Yes.
Rich?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay, last item, 25 Tide Run, Patrick and Nissa Knight, proposed site improvements and dock maintenance plan. Representative Capons Islands Engineering, DP number 433162, that passed inspection.
And this is another one, same situation where there's still time left on the mitigation report, so we'll just add that in as an ongoing condition. I think there's one more year to this. I'll have to double check, but I know it's not complete yet.
Okay.
Mitigation monitoring reports.
So I remember this site, this is one was a brand-new house, and they had, the silt
trench.
fences failed, and they were working past the limit of work, and
Yeah.
I know Dan went out there and scolded them, and
It looks great. The plantings they put in, everything, the whole site has been stabilized. It looks very good.
okay. So is this COC for the house? Because this says site improvements and dock maintenance plan.
So yeah, it is for the house, yeah.
Okay, so that, is that an incorrect
I
statement?
think
or-
it's incorrect, yeah.
Okay,
wording.
so that's for house?
Yeah.
New house, okay.
It was,
Yeah,
yeah,
because that
it
was-
both activities under that notice of intent.
The dock,
The dock got the, what do you call it, see-through decking put on it.
Yeah.
And then there was, yeah, the house and the mitigation.
yeah, because that was an existing dock, and the existing house was torn down, and
Correct.
a new house constructed.
Yeah.
So, okay. Yeah, because I was doing my inspections for ARC, part of New Seabury, and I went by and I looked at it, and then I saw there was all the issues out there, so.
Yeah.
So, okay. All right, so do we have a motion for the COC at 25 Tide Run?
So moved.
Okay, we have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion made, seconded. Vote, Paul?
Yes.
Rich?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay. All right, we'll go back to the top of the agenda. We have approval of draft minutes from the 23rd of October. And it's myself, Sarah, Sandy, Paul, Rich, and Shauna. So Sarah and Shauna aren't here, so we have 4 of us.
That's enough, right? That's enough, right?
Yeah, that's
Yep.
enough, yep. So do we have any changes or questions?
Yeah, I think I took a screenshot of it, but that's probably just a typo, but it's under commissioner status. Alex Zolo submitted a letter requesting to resign from her role as a full lodge, LODG.
Okay. So we'll change that to a
Yeah.
full-time member, yeah.
That was it.
Okay. Sandy, anything?
No, I had sent in some earlier ones that she put into the new draft, so,
Yeah, she-
about the motions, yeah.
Okay.
So that was-
Paul, any concerns, changes from you?
I didn't see anything.
Okay, yeah, I'm good too, so. All right, do we have a motion to approve the minutes from October 23rd?
So moved.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Go to vote. Paul?
Yes.
Rich?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
And I vote yes, too. Okay. Next item is finalization of 2026 calendar for the meetings. So I think everybody has a copy of that, and we can talk about that next week at a quarterly.
Yeah, we just wanted to get the calendar draft out to everybody so you can take a look at it. I'd like to hopefully get this in place before other committees and commissions start submitting theirs, so we have kind of a more.
Can we have this sent electronically to Paul?
Yeah. Paul, did you get this?
Did you?
sent
No, I did
electronically? I thought Elizabeth sent it out to all the commissioners previously, but.
No.
I'll make sure-
I didn't get one.
You didn't get it?
Electronic, no.
Okay, we'll send it, I'll do it first thing tomorrow morning. And
Yes, tomorrow, anyways, to sign those documents.
Oh, that's true, yeah. And then, at the quarterly, you'll need to, the commission will need to establish what the quarterly dates will be for 2026 as well.
Right. Yep.
And also consider, the start time, if you're happy with it as is, 6:30, or if you want to change that too, just let us know at the quarterly.
Okay.
I looked at that plan of record when that gentleman was up talking about the house not being built the way it's supposed to be or whatever his concern was. The date on that was October 22, 2018.
Okay,
That's what was sent out to us.
right.
Again, it's a footprint, so, doors, walkouts, windows, sliders, whatever, they're not there, so I don't know if this information may be in the folder.
I remember that hearing. I was on the commission
Yeah.
back then. I remember that one because just, the site, it's next to the golf course, and I played that golf course for years, so I knew the site. And then the name Stop Bus LLC, it's just a different name. Yeah, so I don't know, it kind of stuck
Yeah,
with me.
these
but
are three new developments all right next to each other.
Yeah,
So-
1, 2, 3 in a row, yeah. So,
I'll follow up. It's possible I may have had the wrong plan, or I might have gone to the wrong site.
yeah, could have.
But
yeah.
I'll follow up and make sure that everything,
Okay.
if it doesn't match up, we'll, have deliberation on it.
Okay.
What to do, yeah.
All right. Okay, so then we'll do calendars next week. We got water quality issues, then all the other stuff, so.
Yeah, I was gonna highlight all the other
Yeah, at the-
updates at the quarterly.
At the quarterlies, okay. All right, good, it's 8:35, doing pretty good. Paul, do you have anything you want to add before we adjourn?
No, I think I'm all set.
Okay, well, hopefully you feel better.
I'm trying. I didn't want to bring whatever I have in and give it all to you people.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, we definitely do. That's good. Rich, Sandy, you guys have anything to add
No.
tonight? No? Okay, you all set, Drew?
All set. Just
Okay,
gotta have your
great.
signature on, coming around for the permits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, no, good meeting, no. Everything worked out well tonight. Okay, so, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we'll go to a vote. Paul?
Yes.
Rich?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.